Okay, so for number 1, we have 2 1/3 plus 1 2/3. So if we add our whole numbers, we get 3. And then since our denominators are the same, we can do 1/3 plus 2/3 to get 3/3, which then is a whole, so that equals 4. Then on our number line, if we were to show that, so we split our number lines into thirds, so 2 1/3 is right here. Then we're adding 1 2/3, so we add a whole to get us to 3 1/3, and then to add 2/3, so 1/3 2/3 to get 4. Okay, so for number 2, we have 4 3/4 minus 2 1/4. So since we have our common denominator, we can do 3/4 minus 1/4, which is 2/4. And then our whole numbers, 4 minus 2 is 2, to get 2 2/4, or simplified is 2 1/2. Since we divide our 2 and 4 by 2, they evenly go into 2. And then to show our work on our number line, we split our number line into fourths. We find 4 3/4. Then we subtract 2. And then another 4th to get our 2 1/2. Okay, so for 10 5/7 plus 2 4/5, we notice that 7 and 5 are not a common denominator, so we have to find a common denominator. So common denominator between 7 and 5 would be 35. So to find our common denominator, I multiplied 7 by 5. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 5 times 5 is 25. And then 5 times 7 is 35. Whatever you do to the bottom, do to the top. 4 times 7 is 28. Now we have our common denominators we can add. So 28 plus 25 is 53 over 35, which is an improper fraction, so we have to convert it to a mixed number. So we're going to divide 53 by 35. So 35 goes into 53 once. Remainder of 18. So our new fraction is 1 18/35. And now since we regrouped, we have to add that to our whole numbers. So 10 plus 2 is 12, and then add another whole number. So 12 plus 1 is 13 and 18/35. So now for number 4, we have 9 3/11 minus 4 5/11. And we do have a common denominator, but we cannot do 3/11 minus 5/11. So I'm going to reset up our fraction, or our problem. So we have to borrow from the 9, take a whole away to get 8, and we're going to add that whole over to our fraction, and our whole is 11 over 11 because that equals 1 in our problem. So 3 plus 11, 14 over 11. So now we can do 14 elevenths minus 5 elevenths, which is going to get us 9 elevenths, and then our whole numbers are 8 minus 4, so our answer is 4 and 9 elevenths. So for number 5, we have 2 and 2/3 times 5 and 3/4. So when we're multiplying mixed numbers, we always first have to turn it into an improper fraction. So we're going to need 2 and 2/3 as an improper fraction. We're going to multiply the 2 and the 3 to get 6, then add the 2 to get 8/3 because we keep our denominator. And then 5 times 4, 20, plus the 3, 23 over 4. And so now it is a multiplication problem where we can do top times top and bottom times bottom. So 23 times 8 is 184, and then 3 times 4 is 12. So now we have to simplify, and it is an improper fraction, so we have to turn it into a mixed number. So 12 goes into 12 goes into 18 once. So 18, 6, 64. Divide by 12 goes into it 5 times. So 64 minus 60, get a remainder of 4. So our remainder goes to our numerator. So 15 and 4/12. And we have to simplify. So 4 goes into 4 and 12 evenly to get 15 and 1/3 as our answer. So for number 6, 2 and 3/7 times 4 and 2/3. Like in number 5, when we're multiplying, we turn it into an improper fraction. So 2 times 7 is 14, plus the 3, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then our denominator is 17. And then 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 2, 12, 14 over 3. And then it's a multiplication problem, so set top times top, bottom times bottom. 17 times 14 is 238, and then 7 times 3 is 21. So that is an improper fraction, so we are going to divide. So 21 goes into 23 once. Oops. We get a remainder of 2, bring down the 8. 21 goes into 28 once again. So 28 minus 21 is 7. So we get 11 and a remainder of 7/21. Or if we simplify, 7 both goes into 21 and 7 evenly. So 11, oh boy, right over here, 11 and 1/3 is our answer for 6. Okay, so number 7, we have 5 and 3/5 divided by 2 and 1/3. So anytime we have a multiplication or division problem, we always turn it into an improper fraction. So 5 times 5 is 25, plus 3, 25, 26, 27, 28 over 5 divided by 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7/3. Okay, so now that we have our fraction in improper fractions, we can do our original division. So we're going to keep 28 fifths. We're going to change our division problem into a multiplication problem, and then we're going to flip our fraction to 3/7. So 28 times 3 is 84, and then 5 times 7 is 35, because remember, now it's multiplication. We can do top times top, bottom times bottom. So now this is an improper fraction, which we then divide. So 84 divided by 35. 35 times 2 is 70. So 35 goes into 84 twice. So 84 minus 70 leaves us with 14. So 2 and 14 35ths, which 14 and 35 can both go into 7 to make our new, we're simplifying to make our new fraction. So 14 divided by 7 is 2, 35 divided by 7 is 5, so 2 and 2/5 is our answer. So 2 and 14 35ths, or 2 and 2/5. So for our last problem, number 8, we have 8 and 3/4 divided by 2 and 5/8. So division problem, we're going to turn it into an improper fraction. So 8 times 4 is 32 plus 3, 35 over 4 divided by, and then 8 times 2 is 16 plus 5 is, let me get 21 over 8. So now that we have our division problem, we keep the first fraction, 35 over 4, we change our division sign to a multiplication sign, and then we flip our fraction to be 8 over 21. So now that we have our multiplication problem, we do our top times top and bottom times bottom. 35 times 8 is 280, and then 4 times 21 is 84. So now that we have our improper fraction, we divide to make it into a mixed number and simplify. So 84 goes into 280 3 times. So 280 minus 252 is 28. So 3 and 28 84ths. So then 3 and 28 over 84 would be the answer, and then it can be simplified into 3 and 1/3 as well.